Well, here I am in the she shed. Today is the day we're going to look at painting this little guy, wrapping the legs with the wire and putting the beads on. So again, we've got some steps going on here. There'll be places where I fast forward the video because once I show you the step, I'll just fast forward so you can see me doing it, and it's not going to take, 90 years to get this video watched. So anyway, so I want to appreciate your time as you view the videos as well. So anyway, so what we're going to do first is go ahead and do a sanding on this little guy. Okay, cement, when it dries, it will dry a little bit rough, as most of you know, so we're going to do a quick sand. Sometimes, and I can't find one here, surprise, sometimes I'll use an emery board. So all of you go out and buy yourself a little stash of emery boards that can help you do this little project sanding. They're super helpful. Let me look in my drawer. I can't believe I'm like out here. Well, yes I can, and you can all too, but yeah, no emery boards. They're probably all in my work bag. Take it to my office. So, but we're going to do a little light sanding. I've got a little sandpaper here. We're going to just take off the little sharp, rough edges. I am not going to like worry about getting this sanded super smooth, right? And I hope none of you are going to go that much stress. So that's what we're going to do right now, a little light sanding. All right. Should we have like sanding music? I don't know. I never know what music I can use. So I don't use music because everything's copyrighted. And I don't want to, infringe upon those rights. And so, sorry, there's not music in my YouTube videos. So just the getting those rough little corners and little loose, see, like right here, little loose kind of rocks, if you will, just off those edges. And you really can sand this super fine, going with finer and finer grade sandpaper. You can do that. You all know I'm not going to do that, but you can do that. Okay, I want my emery board. I'll be right back. Found my emery board. There we go. Oh, yeah. See, world of difference. So I finished up all of the sanding and using my little emery board, right? So now I'm going to wrap the legs. I'm going to just use the aluminum craft wire to wrap these legs. It just makes them, I think they look really cool, kind of wrapped like that. So it's a little extra work and it's an extra step, but it's how I like it. Again, you can leave off the wrapped wire. That's what I've done on some, but now that I've thought about wrapping them, it looks better to me. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the extra time and effort to wrap these legs. So I've just created a hoop, a little hook on my wire. I've got a long enough end here that I can grab a hold of it with my fingers or my pliers as I use the long end to wrap around the leg. So let's go down here, take a look at how I'm doing this. I hope I can get the camera, get my hands around the camera, or the camera around my hands, whichever way it works. So I'm just going to hook this around this leg right here. So I'm going to move that leg out of the way. Try not to move them too much. I mean, you move wire back and forth, you all know that it could snap and break. And then there you are, you have a one-legged bird. No good for anyone. So just kind of move it once out of the way, and then I'm going to begin this wrap. I'm going to take the short end with my pliers and the long end in my hand, and I'm moving the long end over the short end because I want that end to be toward the back. So I'm just going to wrap it and pull it as tight as I can using my pliers and my hand there. And now that's there. So now I can just hold that with my thumb while I wrap this, okay? So it just takes a little finessing at first, and then it'll take hold for you. So just kind of work it, wrangle it around until it does what you want it to do. I can get cement and wire to do what I want it to do. That's about it, though. Everything else in life, you know, you got to kind of go along with what life presents to you. So, but I can make wire do what I want it to, I think. So here we go. I've got a nice couple of winds on it. I'm still going to get this little tail. I want that to stay back here, out of the way. I'm going to clip that off later. You want it to be, all of the coils to be right up next to each other. So you see I'm holding that in place to give me leverage, and I'm holding this wire fairly close down to the leg so that I can control where it goes, and it will be as close to the previous coil as I can get it. All right, so we have the legs all wrapped. Yay, that took a little bit. It's almost time for me to go in and start some lunch for a hubby and little guy, and then I'll be back out. So we're going to go ahead and just start putting in the darker underlay paint on our little bird here. So as you know, as I paint, I have a hard time talking at the same time I'm painting. I guess I just get into a zone. So I'll try to tell you what I'm doing prior to doing it. In all the little cracks and crevices and in all of the little indent places, I will use a darker paint. So I've got a red and a yellow here to make a nice dark orange. I might even add some black, but I don't think I will. But to make it nice and dark, so when it goes down in the crevices, it'll just darken up and sit there. Then I put a nice light color of yellow and orange on top of that, not covering up all the little dark spots in the cracks that I've done. And so this isn't a new painting technique or anything like that, but I just needed to talk about it just in case somebody out there is not aware of how to do that. So I just got my little palette here with my red, with my little red and yellow, and I'm just going to make it a nice dark orange to begin with, and then just go right down inside is what I'm doing. Just making sure that paint gets way down into those crevices. I'm just kind of, I've got a little tiny brush, so I'm just kind of scrubbing it in to where I want it. And it's okay if it's on the outside of the crevice, that's fine, because you're going to come back and cover that up anyway. So I have the dark orange and red all inside the little crevices like I like. And now I'm just going to do a quick paint over it. And you're going to see that the yellow out, but the dark highlights stay dark. And we'll do a few layers of this until we get the bird to where we want it to be. So here we go. I just go against the grain. You can see that the cement is soaking up the paint. Now I like that effect because it helps me to have those darker, kind of more subdued, brighter tones. I know that's kind of a contradiction, but I like it. Some people will go ahead and paint this whole little bird white and prime it. And that would make your colors be a lot more poppy and a lot more bright. But I like doing it this way, just keep adding the layers to the paint and not have all the paint sitting on top of a primer. So I want it to go into the cement like this. There we go. So, until my husband's foot heals, this is how we'll run. A little here, a little there, going in and taking care of what he needs taken care of, and little guy needs taken care of. You know, that's just how we fly. So there he is. He's going to sit there and dry for a time while I go manage lunch for the fam. We only got so far the other day. We did get the legs wrapped. We did get the body started on the painting. I'm trying to get this done today. School starts this week. I hate summer break. Any of you with me out there? It's been a juggle to do summer and work full time. I am bowing to all of you parents and grandparents who were working from home and getting these kids through school all through the pandemic. Wow, what you accomplished. I struggled just getting through the summer break and working from home 2 or 3 days a week. Wow, it was... I'm going to figure this grandmother parenting thing out eventually, and you'll all be on the journey with me. But today, I took the day off work. I wanted some brain time. I wanted to get out here and play with all of you. So let's see how much farther we can get on this little guy right here. I'm hoping that we're going to get him painted and we'll get the beads on his little head and we'll have a finished product at the end of all this. We'll see how far I can get. Little guy's not around. He's at daycare. All right, let's get started. So as the base of the red, and it's down inside the crevices here, you can see I've gone ahead and filled my palette with some orange and some lighter colored yellow. I'm going to use purple on his little tummy and on his wings. I think on his tummy and on his back tail feathers. I'm thinking I'm going to go with like this one, this aqua color for his wings there. So we're going to do all of that, and we'll use white on his eyes. So it's just basic painting. There's no magic about it. A variety of different brushes. I'll do some wet brush, right? When I'm really wanting some intense color, you'll see me dry my brush off. I'm wanting a dry brush, kind of just over painting, that's kind of just highlighting. So you're going to see different things. I'll try to talk about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. It's hard for me to paint and talk at the same time. So we're going to see if I can manage that for y'all, okay? So since I'm painting right on the cement, I didn't do any primer. You're going to notice that the paint soaks right in. And so it's not going to be a real bright white. So I'm going to need to go over this a couple of coats to get, because I really want this eyeball to pop out nice, bright, and white. So I'm going to paint the eyeball, do some other painting, and come back. Look, I've already got paint on me. Do any of you wear gloves when you paint? I wish I could, because it would save me a lot of cleanup time later. But I don't know. Gloves seem to get in my way. Comments on that? I don't know. Let's get back to this. And it's okay if I'm getting some of that white paint here on my beak and on my eyelid. So those are going to dry now. His eyes are going to dry. I keep I don't know if this is a tip for anybody else, but I keep a little metal scrubby in my brush water. It doesn't need to be as big as this one is, but that way as I put my brush in here, I can kind of get some of that paint scrubbed off. And so, I don't know. If that's new for anybody, yay, glad I could help you out. I'm going to go ahead and do some more on the body here. I want to put some highlights, a little brighter yellow here now. You can see I've gone over it with the red, with an orangey yellow, and now I'm going back over it with a brighter yellow. So several layers of paint to get the look I want. You can see I'm not using an awful lot of paint. I do want some of that underneath color to come through. So I'm just kind of doing a quick wash, if you will. See how I'm going over everything, but you can still see the red coming through. You can still see the darker orange coming through. That's what I want. This goes along pretty nicely if you can do it in batch work. You know, like have 2 or 3 or 4 of these little birds sitting here ready to be painted. Because as you finish portion of one, you can then move on and to another one, and you've always got, while one's sitting to dry, you can always keep working on others, and that way you don't have a lot of wasted time waiting for paint to dry, right? It's not much more boring than sitting around waiting for paint to dry. So that's just another little tip, but I don't have that going on right now, so we're gonna wait for paint to dry sometimes. Orange with that. I don't want it like uber bright, so I'm again putting another quick, just fast highlight coat of some orange, just to give it dimension. I just don't like one flat color of paint. Oh, this is, yeah. So it's almost like blush, if you will, right? It's kind of, oh, there we go. We're getting right where I like it to be. This is, so it's just playing around. Just play around with your colors and your painting techniques to just take it as far as you can to get it to look the way you want it to. I used to not take it far enough, and I'm going, ooh, I really don't like that. And so I learned to really push myself and just keep moving, Venna, keep moving. It's going to get there. Don't be impatient. I'm impatient. And so that's how I've learned to kind of develop how I like to paint my completed projects is I know what I'm looking for. And so if I trust myself, then I just know, keep going, it's coming, it's gonna arrive. Okay, so trust yourselves. Okay, you're here creating, you're doing this because you've got a desire, you've got the heart, you got the mind, you got the eye, right? Got me? And so I am proof anybody can do this. Okay, not rocket science, but you do need to practice and trust yourself. All right, know that it's going to come out. And guess what? Even if it doesn't, pretty inexpensive materials give it away to somebody as a gift, and try again. So, yes, yes, it's true. Sometimes my family gets things that didn't turn out. Mostly things that don't turn out end up in my yard. I know it looks pretty messy right now. Trust yourselves. Trust yourselves. Trust the process. I've heard that a lot in the world of art. Trust the process. And I thought, what does that mean? I just want to get it right. I want to get it right. And if I focus too much on getting it right, then I end up not having fun. I end up not taking the creating as far as it needs to get the result I want. So to trust yourself in what you're looking for, not what somebody else might enjoy or like. No, that's not your end goal. Your end goal is doing what pleases you and doing it the way it looks in your mind. And guess what? Others will enjoy it, right? I tell my little grandson, I said, you know, it's okay if not everybody likes your art. If you like your art, that's what matters, because it's come from your head and your heart, and it's just lovely to create something that's never been on the planet before. That was an idea that really excited him. You mean I'm making things that's never been made before? I said, absolutely. Isn't that cool to create something that has never been on the planet before, and it's come from you? And so that's what I'm trying to help him learn and understand, to have patience in his own creating, and to just keep practicing and practicing and working and having fun in that process. When I started just having fun in the process, yeah, everything seemed to work a little bit better for me. It's going to take a little touch of red, and I don't know why, but I'm going to take just a little touch of red and kind of go around this. Now I'm going to blend it in so you don't see that it's just red. I'm changing my brush to a dry brush so I can blend this in. Oh, I like that. See, because the purple has, this purple, you can see the red in the purple, because you all know that blue and red make purple. You can actually see that. So I love this. It just kind of gave that purple some more dimension. So it's not just, again, that flat purple. And then I've gone along here and put in just a little bit of black shadow around the edge. Alright, there we go. And then I am going to wash my brush here. I'm going to put just a little touch of pink highlight. I like pink, but I don't wear a lot of pink. I wish I could wear pink because I think it's so pretty, but pink just doesn't seem to suit me for some reason. So I'm just going to put a little dab there. And, you know, using my paper towels here. Just a little tiny dab. And I'm just going to touch it there. All right, I love that. I like it. All right, so as that's drying, we're going to come back and put our last, I think we only need one more little layer of white on the eyes here. And I've got a nice wide brush because I just want a nice stroke like so. And I'll let that dry. And while that dries, we'll come back here. Notice I'm saving the wings because I'm using those to hold on to. So, things in the right order. We must do things in the right order or it's just more work for us. And believe me, I've done things that make... Now again, if you wanted these colors to be way brighter, because they can be super bright, if you decide to go over your whole bird with a white primer first, just paint the whole thing white, and then paint it, your colors will be a lot, boom, brighter than doing it this way. But I like this where it's bright, but it's really kind of a subdued. Can you have subdued brightness? I don't know. I'm going to use just a little bit of black on the edges here. I just have learned if I add just a little darker shades around the edges, then it blurs where one piece of the sculpture comes to meet the other piece. Because, you know, if you're like me, I am never, ever, never, ever, never going to get of purple and this line of yellow to meet perfectly, and it's going to be straight. So I put a nice dark color there and just blend the purple and the yellow together. So it's, you just don't see it. It's a shame. That's my cheat right there. So, come on, cheat. I'm sure you all have some tips out there you can share with me to help me, because see, now it's just, I just love it that I don't have to worry about that perfectly straight line. So that's why I use the black in the shadows and shades here. It just makes it so much nicer to have that. And then wash my brush. Go ahead and put just a little dab of that pink right there. Beautiful. Yay! Love it. So now that my eyeballs here are basically dry, we are now going to do the face, because remember, I'm saving the wings for last because this is how I keep holding on to my little bird. So we're going to finish the face, we're going to do the feet, and then we will do the wings last. And then we'll have fun putting the beads on top. Here's my other little guy here. Again, this little guy, I've put the clay on here to have the eyelids. So this one's got green eyelids because his tummy's green. So I guess he'll have purple eyelids because his tummy's purple. So let's do that. When I just don't want to wait for paint to dry, I only have limited time. Eventually I gotta go get little guy and take care. Ta-da! So I do want, on this little guy here, as you see, he's got his green, and then I've given him blue eyeliner. Right. I don't wear eyeliner because I can't get it straight. So, it wouldn't cover up any wrinkles anyway, so no eyeliner. We're just going to try to put eyeliner on this little bird though. See if I can get his eyeliner straight. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and make his, we just got a dog too. We've just had so much going on. And periodically, I'll get a dog hair on my lip. Because well, somebody out there feels sorry for me. I don't know. My mama says, dog hair. My mama says, Venna, I'd feel for you, but I can't reach you. My husband doesn't feel sorry for me because he's in it with me. Oh well. We're going to put pink eyeliner here on this little guy and see if I get it on straight. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. So we're going to fix that. I didn't like it. Bad idea. We'll go back to the blue. I do like how the blue turned out. Oh yes. I like that. Yes, that's turned out good. So, yay. I used to think that these little tiny brushes like this would give me a nice straight line, but I learned that it doesn't. It needs to be a nice long liner brush. So, another tip for y'all. And hold your breath. We all hold our breath when we're trying to make straight lines. There we go. And breathe. Paint decorator by profession many moons ago, before I became a trainer in behavioral health. But and so as you're writing on that cake with the icing, you're holding your breath the whole time. What you do. Alright, so there's my little bird with his little eyeliner. He needs another little touch up here, I see. And then for the eye, for the pupil, I take the end of my black paint and dip it and poke it right on the little divot I've made for his eyes. Using a flat brush so I can get right up close to the eye. That's all we need. Now I'm just using this orange on his beak, and as you can see, it's soaking in, and I want his beak to be a nice bright orange like this little guy here. So it's gonna require another layer. So now let that dry, and I might even just add just a little yellow to it. There we go. Yay! I love when the faces are done. Yay! They have so much personality. It's lunchtime. I'm starting to get hungry. So I'll be back. Okay, went and had a BLT for lunch. Back out here with you. We are now going to, if I get my tripod set up here. There we go. We're now going to go ahead and do the wings and the feet and put those beads on. Okay, we got this little guy all finished up. Yay! So I have the black inside the little crevices of the wing. I just watered down, put some black paint here and here, and put just a little water in there to work it down in. And then just wiped it out. So it's all down inside the crevices. So the next thing we want to do is take our blue paint that we've selected and just go ahead and apply. Okay, so I'm just applying a little of the paint. I don't have a lot, and I'm going to just come right up to that crevice where I put the black paint, because I don't want to fill that in. And I'm just going to paint the wing. So we've got the wings all painted. Now the feet. So I've gone ahead and put the black inside the crevices on the feet. And so at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and paint my wires black. Now these wires that you're using in the top of the head can really be anything at all. I'm using a nice thin wire so I can use a nice thin beads. You could use any size wire. You don't even have to use wire. You could put feathers in it if you want to instead of wire and beads. I just think something on the top of his head kind of looks fun. So since mine are excuse me, since mine are destined to sit outside on a patio or in a garden somewhere, then I'm not going to do feathers. I'm going to do beads. But if you know yours is going to be sitting in the house out of the weather, right, then go ahead and do feathers and other kinds of craft items. So just painted that black, and we're going to let all of that dry. We'll come back, paint the feet orange, and go ahead and put the beads on, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and put the little curly cues into the wires here, and that's what we're going to hang our beads from. So there's no precision about this. There's no right or wrong way. Just make your little curly cues so that they will hold the beads up, so the beads can dangle around and be kind of fun. There you go. So that's going to sit right there. Now we'll get our beads, and I'll show you how to create the little bead dangles. All right. So what I've got here, and kind of pushing my paint stuff aside, I have some head pins. So that is a little jewelry wire with a top on it, if you can see that. You use them in jewelry making. And maybe you want to get an eye pin. So it's the same, but this one's got a hole in it. All right, and I'm going to use these to create these little dangles right here, okay? So I'm going to take my head pin with the flat tip on top, and I'm just coming over here into my jewelry bead stash. I've just got all these weird little beads in here, and I'm going to use these tiniest ones to make those dangles. You can use whatever kind of beads you want, or whatever size beads you want. Doesn't really matter. These are just some I've got scrap. Maybe I've had necklaces and things I've taken apart, or these are just some leftovers out of some other bead boxes that I haven't used these up, and I use those for something else. Who knows what all this is. However, in here are some sparklies, and you all know I love my sparklies. So I'm just going to go ahead and thread about 3 beads on here. And I want them to be kind of sparkly. I might put a black one on there, like so. Take my wire cutter and cut that off, giving me just enough to make a loop. And I'm going to save this because I can use that again. I'll try not to waste too much. So just going to grab a hold of that and make a nice little loop. Like so. So you can see it's got a nice little loop. So I can now just hang it right on the little bird. Oh, to make a little opening. There we go. Now, we can hang it right on the little bird, just like so. And we want to close that up again so it doesn't pop off. There we go. Gonna make 2 more of those. Don't have to match, of course, because that would just be too much work to look for all the right beads to make them match. This is supposed to be fun, not too much work. Especially on my day off. Took my day off. I don't want too much work. I did do a little laundry for a little guy. And I put some groceries away that hubby had ordered. There we go. So I've done a little bit. I made my bed. Tell my mama I did make my bed before I came out to have fun. And it's so fun. Our little guy makes his bed too. It's not perfect. It's not made correctly. And I told my husband, I said, at this stage of the game, if we can just get little guy to get in the habit of making his bed, at this point I don't care what it looks like. If we can get him in the habit of doing it, later we can teach him to take a little pride in his work and what he does. He takes a great deal of pride in the idea that he makes his bed without Grandma even asking him. It's not made well, but he's at least making an effort without even being asked. I'm just saying, what a nice little fella. He works so hard to just do the right things and be happy. He struggles daily just to be happy. But we're going to do our best. He's ordered chicken salad for dinner. I made chicken salad on Saturday, and he ate chicken salad twice on Saturday, chicken salad once on Sunday, and he wants chicken salad again today, and then that will be the end of the chicken salad. I had no idea. You like chicken salad so well. There we go. There's our last little dangle. Hang it right on here. Well, we need to make that a little bit. A little bit go around here. So it'll hold on to it. There we go. Okay, who's watching? Whose day is it to watch? Oh, there it is. I misplaced my dangle. Dangles are in. Now we just need to paint the feet orange, and this little guy is finished. Let me pick up my little scrap jewelry wires here. All right, here we go. We're going to now finish this little guy up by painting his feet orange. And here's my little palettes again. Put my jewelry making stuff aside. And this isn't rocket science. It's just more painting the feet. Just leaving the black on there. I don't like that brush. Let's get myself a brush I do like. There we go. There he is. So when this little guy gets all dry, completely dry, and he's all set, I'll take the little crystals off of his head, and I'm going to give him a good spray of crystal clear enamel. Rust-Oleum is the brand I use, and I will spray him. I will wait for about an hour. I'll go back out and spray him again. I'm going to do that 3 times, and that gives me this really nice finished gloss that I like to have on these little guys. I just love my yellow birds. So there, yay! We got part 2 completed of our little bird. Well, thank you for viewing this little DIY part 2 little yellow bird, getting him all painted up. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to know from your comments that you are trying these little projects and that you've got questions. Sometimes I leave things out, so thank you. You can't hurt my feelings telling me I left something out, or maybe I didn't say it right in a way you could understand. So I always appreciate the questions. I try to get back to you really quick, even though I work full time. Got a husband with an injured foot. I've got an 8-year-old in the house. Got a lot going on. But I really do find your comments important, and so I do try to respond to them and get you the information that you need as quickly as possible. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Subscribe. You're supposed to say that, I guess my daughter says so. And so I hope you enjoy it. Make a lot of these. Spread them around the world, right? Gonna have the little yellow birds everywhere. Enjoy your day. Thank you for being with me.